My people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, O Lord.
The mother and brothers of Jesus came looking for him, but they could not get in to him because of the crowd. He was told, "Your mother and brothers are standing outside and want to see you." But he said in answer, "My mother and my brothers are those who hear the word of God and put it into practice." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Today I want to talk about our call to the family of God. The first reading has some basic instructions for us, knowing and having in mind that we all are brothers and sisters. It says that the Lord hates those with proud heart and with eyes that look down on others. And then it went further to say towards the end that those who fail to listen to the cry of the poor will not be heard when they themselves cry to the Lord. But that is not the point I'm going to draw at today. I know this happens a lot in a family settings where people try to look down on one another, when people try to outdo one another, and this is what the first reading is telling us to avoid. But I just want to draw your attention to the gospel reading today, that Jesus at some stage was preaching somewhere not far from his hometown where he was brought up. And then while in the middle of his conversation with the people, a message came to him. Someone came and whispered to him and said, "Your mother and your brothers are outside looking for you. They want to see you." And Jesus, looking at the people around him, he said, "Who are my mother, my brothers and sisters?" Pointing his hand, that is what Matthew said to us. Today we are reading it from Luke's account. Pointing his hands towards those sitting around him, he said, "Here are my brothers, my mother, and my sisters." And then he went further to say, "Anyone who does the will of my Father is my mother and my brother and my sister." A lot of people have misunderstood or misinterpret this particular part of the Bible, saying that Jesus have ignored his biological family or have very little regard for his mother. Yes, Jesus came to show us that he has come to establish a family, not bonded by biological or by blood. It is a family bonded by the water of baptism. It is going to be a family open to everyone, not just the Jewish people or his own biological family, but it's a family of God's people that will be open to everyone. So membership of this family is determined by the water of baptism. And that is why Jesus said, "Who are my mother, my brothers and sisters?" Another misinterpretation or misrepresentation of this particular version in the Bible could mean that Mary also had other children after Jesus, which is not true. Mary was ever virgin. She had no other children after the birth of Christ. If you read the original text in Greek, the word brother here could imply cousins, first or second cousins. Like we have first and second cousin in English, you hardly can find such term to describe it in Greek. Those from Africa are very familiar with this, because when they talk about brothers, sometimes it could be first cousin, it could be second cousin. So you need to ask them to clarify. Is it your immediate brother or a cousin of yours? And this is considered as brothers. So Mary, and was very familiar, the Jewish people were also familiar with this kind of terms. Mary had no other children before and after the birth of Christ. So let us be very clear on that. And when Jesus said about his brothers and sisters and those sitting around him, he is not denying the place of Mary in his heart. He went further to say, he called them his brothers and sisters because they are the people closest to him at that time. And to belong to Jesus, we must be very close to him. We cannot follow him from a distance, like many people are doing today. We must be within the inner circle. We cannot be outside. The parents, the biological family of Jesus at that time were outside. And Jesus didn't want to make that impression that to belong to this new family of God's children, you can belong even when you are outside. You cannot. There's no room for you here when you are outside. You have to be inside. And when you are inside, you must be sitting at his feet. And when you are sitting at his feet, you must open your ears to listen to him. And when you open your ears to listen to him, you must take the words to your heart. And when you take the words to your heart, you must practice it before you become a member. These are the criteria. And who has done this more than anyone else can you think of? Mary, the mother of Jesus. Mary carried Jesus in his womb. So nobody could have been closest to Jesus than Mary, who carried him for 9 months, and later had Jesus sitting on her knees when he was infant, and not just only when he was infant, even after he was crucified, after his death, Mary also had Jesus sitting on her knees, the lifeless body of Jesus. On the day we had the exaltation of the cross, I forgot to mention to you, that was the first day of the adoration of the body of Christ, the Eucharistic adoration, if you want to call it that way. When the disciples came gathering around Jesus, contemplating his holy wounds, watching his lifeless body, all in silence. The question now is, where are you? Are you sitting? Do you find yourself sitting at the feet of Jesus? Or standing at the foot of the cross? Or somewhere else? So Jesus wants us to know that to belong to the family, to this family, we must be within his range. We must be within his reach. We must be close to him. We cannot distance ourselves from him and still call ourselves the brothers and sisters of Jesus or the disciples of Jesus, like many of us are doing today. And each time I talk about this, I give you a practical example of what you are familiar with. Many of you have mobile phones. When you have your mobile phones, there are rules that goes with it. The rule number 1 is the battery must be charged at least to the point that to be strong enough to switch on the phone. If you have your mobile phones switched off, you cannot receive call. Neither can you make call or send text messages or receive text messages with it. If you have your mobile phone switched on and you are not within the range of the network, you still cannot receive calls or make any calls with it as well, because you are outside the network range. So to receive your mobile phone, to make use of your mobile phone properly, you must have it switched on. You must be within the network range of your whatever network you use. So this is what happened when it comes to our relationship with Jesus. We must be within his range. We must be within the inner circle. We must be close to him. We must be sitting around him, his feet, or standing at the foot of his cross. These are the 2 places we can be, and they are the best places we can be on earth. Catholics encourage adoration to the Blessed Sacrament because it brings us to sit at the feet of Jesus, to contemplate him. And something happens whenever we sit at the feet of Jesus. It gives us an inner view of who we are. When we sit at the feet of Jesus, we offload our problems to him. When we sit at the feet of Jesus, he can scan the heart. He can look through our hearts. The radiation that comes from him kills all the virus of sin within us. It's just like exposing yourself to X-ray. You expose yourself to the radiation of Jesus because you are sitting very close to him. And you are not outside the range. You are within the range. And when you sit there, you have to switch on. There are a lot of Catholics today who are close to Jesus, but their heart is switched off. When your heart is switched off, even if you are right there if you have your phone switched off, if you are right under the mask of the network, whatever you use, you still cannot make any call. Many people today have made the effort to be around Jesus, but they have their heart switched off. We must learn from Mary how to sit at the feet of Christ, how to stand at the foot of the cross by having our hearts switched on. When your heart is open, then there can be communication between you and Jesus. You can receive, you can give, and there will be that transmission happening, and you remain connected to him. Only then you can call yourself a brother or a sister of Jesus. So, my dear friends, let us pray today that God will give us the grace through the prayer of Mary, our mother, who knows how best to listen to Jesus, who knows how best to sit at the feet of Jesus, and who knows the best way to stand at the foot of the cross, to give us that grace to be able to do his will. Because until and unless we are close to him, we are within his range, we open our hearts and we listen to him, we cannot do the will of the Father. So we pray that God will give us the grace to break our proud hearts, our haughty eyes, and whatever prevents us from opening ourselves to him, that we may always find ourselves sitting at the feet of Jesus. And those who have always spent time sitting at the feet of Jesus, we pray that God will heal their wounds of sins. We pray today that God will strengthen their faith. We also pray that God will take away their burdens, because Jesus has promised us to bring to him all our burdens. So as you sit at the feet of Jesus during this Mass, unload your burdens to him and leave it with him. Nail it to the cross and leave it there. Whatever problems you are going through today, tell Jesus, I am nailing this to your cross and I'm leaving it with you. You can now go free because the Lord has set you free. May God bless you.
If my people, which are called